So the three questions are, what do you want from work other than money? Second question is, what don't you want from work? What do you want work not to do? Like kill you, for instance, might be in that category. And the third thing is, what about your place of work, 50 East, do you want to share with people who are going to see this and hear this, that distinguishes the place you work and makes it especially rewarding, especially frustrating, especially interesting, keeps you there? Cool.
Yeah.
So what do you want from work in general? What don't you want work in general? And what about 50 East floats your boat?
Who's going first?
Or
is that supposed to be me?
Daniel, go.
Hey, everybody. Hope all is well. So specifically within 50 East, I think that we all can find bits of family relationship. We've all known each other outside of work. So I think to be able to tie in a personal relationship into a professional relationship helps everything. Helps your relationships inside and outside of work. But in the end, I think the customer, right? That's our goal. Gets a great product, and we also have a decent time along. What I want to find from work in general would be things that cause me good stress. I like eustress, and I like instant gratification. So to be able to go to work, do a thing, meet my deadline, and see my actual work, it's great. What I don't like at work is the bad stress, the distress, cause of lack of organization or timing or lack of materials. So to be organized and all of those things tie in to be able to have a nice work day outside of the money.
Thank you. How about your car partner?
Well, my situation is different because I was only working with 50 East for a short period of time, about a year. But I can piggyback off of what Daniel was saying as far as the relationships that have been built outside of work hours. There's a real, and I mean, I can witness that from having worked for a period of time, but also just witnessing Daniel's relationship with Steve and with Kent and with Alan over the years, kind of as an outsider. There are boundaries between what's professional and what's personal, but at the same time, there's never a question where if there's an emergency or there's a need, Steve can be called, Kent can be called. It doesn't have to be a work emergency. I can call Steve with a family emergency, and I know he would be there for me. And that's something that I think it really adds to the value of saying, hey, I want to be here and support this because I support Steve because he supports me, not just we're all chasing a dollar. I think that's just a huge aspect from my kind of outsider's perspective or my short-term perspective.
Real quick, can I interrupt? Who's talking right now?
Who is talking right now?
My brother Ben.
Yeah, Ben. Daniel's brother.
Ben.
Hey, Kent.
Okay. How you doing, Ben?
Hey.
How about life in general, work in general? What do you want from work and what don't you want from work?
Well, I mean, for me, it's a little bit different because while I was working with Daniel and Steve and everybody, it was in pursuit of finishing a degree. And so, now my work is mental health. I'm a clinician. I work as a marriage and family therapist. But ultimately, my goals for employment are to be able to feel like I'm getting out of my job what I'm putting in, so that the whole rest of my life doesn't have to surround the pursuit of survival. I want to be able to work and have a work that promotes a comfortable personal life. I mean, that's the goal, right? My goal.
Thank you. Would you guys mute over there in the automobile? How about Chris? I'm calling on the order that I see you guys on my screen. You're on mute.
Okay, got it. Can you
Yeah,
hear me?
all right, man. Yep.
Ooh, I'm bad at Zoom calls.
So what do you want from work in general? What don't you want from work in general? And what about 50 East and your work there gives you at least part of what you want from work? Other
So
than,
what I want out of work is honestly seeing the customer happy. That always makes me super happy. That gratification of them coming into whatever we're doing and seeing the look on their face for the first time, seeing it at the end of the day. That's always hit the spot for me.
how about what you don't want from work?
What I don't want from work, I don't want thin set on my pants. That's always a bad day. Not really. I don't want much. Don't want for work. I'm not really good at answering these kind of questions.
It's all right.
Another thing I could add is Steve. He is just always there for us, and anytime we call him, he's answering the phone, or he'll call you right back. He's a super good dude. Everybody in 50 East is, ladies included. I don't think I've ever met you, Shelby. Sorry, I don't have my contacts in. And what am I looking for out of 50 East?
No, I think you already covered it. I think you kind of blended them together.
Gotcha.
Good. Thank you, Chris.
Not a problem.
Okay. If you don't mind muting again.
Yeah, I just have to move one thing real quick, so I'll be right back.
Sure. All right. It's the twins. It's Alan and please.
Brandon. Good. So what do I want out of work, or what do I enjoy? It's I enjoy like being able to like hyper focus on what I'm doing and kind of like the artistry of it. I don't know, it's like weirdly cathartic for me to do it and do it well. And I definitely get some gratification out of the end result, but just doing it is what I enjoy about it. What I don't want from work is I don't want an unnecessary stress or chaos or disorder or anxiety. I don't want to feel not a part of. I don't want to feel like my skills aren't valued or disrespected, And what was the third part of the question?
What about 50 East? Keeps you here? Do you appreciate, makes it different perhaps from other places you work?
Yeah, definitely just piggyback off what Dan said. I've known Steve a long time. I've known Kent a long time. I've known basically all these guys a long time. And I feel like if I left tomorrow or if I left today even, there'd always be a place for me at 50 East. And I appreciate that.
Thank you. Oh, yeah.
Oh, I'm showing a sweetheart. So I'm Brandon. Football as well. So what I want to get out of 50 East, or what's the first question?
What do you want to get from work, and what don't you want to get from work? Like, death, for instance.
What I want to get out of work, I want to learn things. I want to improve the things that I already know. I want to learn tips and tricks, and I just want to learn to do things a different way and improve the things that I already know how to do. That was my whole goal of starting work here. I worked at a bunch of different places, but working here, what I enjoy about it is that everybody seems to work well together. Dan is a pretty good leader. So is Steve. It's really easy, more than other places, to just they understand family life. They understand extenuating circumstances, and that everybody has a life outside of work. Work isn't necessarily like the biggest issue as long as work is getting done. I also enjoy that. Also, what I like about work is doing the best possible job I can, even if it means taking more time. Just giving the customer the end product that whether it's a small job or not, something that they can show off to their friends. The best kind of compliment is a call back for more work. What I don't want to get out of work is kind of like Alan said, I don't want to be stressed. I don't want anxiety. That's pretty much it. I want to be respected. And
Thank you, both of you.
thank you.
410-271-8668.
What was that?
Uh,
866.
yeah, 8668.
Yep, that's Steve. That's me.
Oh, okay. So you're on here twice. God, what a neat.
I don't know why I'm on there twice, but yeah.
That's all right. Dave.
Dave's gonna unmute.
Can you guys hear me?
I can hear you.
Yep.
I don't care
Awesome.
about the rest of them, right?
I guess what I'm trying to get out of work is I'm always trying to get better. I'm always trying to learn and improve and just make the job work, It seems like we get a lot of that at these, I mean? We've over 6 years, we've we went from painting houses to building additions, that's improvement. And that's what I like about 50 East. I hate stress. That's what I'm gonna get right with other guys and this kind of lately has been a lot of stress, and that's a lot to deal with. Kind of burns you out real quick. Everybody knows how that goes. What was the last question?
Three of them. One, what do you want from work in general? What don't you work? And what about 50 East do you really appreciate?
Well, it's the camaraderie, like we've all said, we're all old friends. You know what I mean? We all get each other. We're to the point where we can be mad at each other and still work each other and not even talk to each other, and stuff runs smoothly. And that makes things easier sometimes.
Thank you, Dave.
All right.
0140.
That would be me.
Yeah, what?
What do I want to get out of work? For the most part, I'm getting what I want to get at work. It's a unique position I've been put in for the first time. Working at other places, you don't exactly have the investment in it as you would when you're working with family. And as far as what I want to get out of it, I just want to continue to. I almost don't even know what I want to get out of it because I'm so anxious to see where the company is going to go. Like Dave said, I don't even know how long exactly it's been, 6-7 years or something like that. But to go from where we were to where we are now is, it's unbelievable. It's almost like, technology advancing. The week by week, I feel like we learn new things at a, at an unbelievable rate.
Mhm.
And I'm just really anxious to see where we're going to be in another 7 years. I think the sky's the limit. What don't I want from work? I don't want work to be the only thing in my life. That also piggybacks off of what I was saying about family. It's tough to have a relationship with your family that doesn't involve work. Me and my brother make a strong effort to make sure that every time we call one another, it isn't about something at work. We don't get it done all the time, but we definitely try. Oh yeah, and since everybody else said stress, I'll say stress too. Anxiety. Nobody wants that. What would I like to share about 50 East with people? I'd like to share with people that 50 East is a company that you can trust. We're a company that when we're going to be in your house for a week doing a bathroom remodeling job, you don't have to worry about taking off work that week, because the people that are in your house are 100% trustworthy. You can know that while you're gone and you're at work and we're in your house, we're going to treat your house as if it was our house. If we feel like there's something wrong with your dog, we're going to, take the proper steps to make sure your dog's okay. If a pipe busts and it's unrelated to what we're doing, we're going to stop what we're doing and we're going to make sure we find out why your pipe busts and make sure that it doesn't ruin all your stuff.
Thank you.
And I'll wrap it up there, I guess.
Thank you. Shelby.
Hello. So I'd say what I want to get out of work is learning a lot of skills that not a lot of women my age have. I'm newly 21, and so a lot of the things that I've learned through 50 East are extremely useful to me, and I'll be able to use them as I go. And learning to work with new people, every new job that we start, there's going to be someone new that we're working with, and learning how to work with them. And just again, learning skills that I feel a lot of people don't have, and they're very useful in your everyday life. So learning how to do those things and work with new people is definitely what I like to get out of work. What I don't like is I don't ever want to feel because I came into it not knowing anything, that fear of needing to ask a question so you don't do something structurally wrong and it's this huge issue, being afraid to ask that question because you're going to be looked down on or made feel stupid in that sense. I don't ever want that, but I've never had to experience that with 50s. They've always very calmly walked me through how to do something and shown me how to do it and properly taught me and never made me feel talked down to or I didn't know what I was doing. They would just understand that I was learning and they would properly show me how to do it. And I never had to feel I guess looked down on. They just taught me how to do everything very well. And I never felt people will feel like I can't do something because like I am so young. Like there's always that fear of when I meet someone new, they're not gonna let me touch a saw or anything because they're gonna be like, she does not know what she's doing. But I never had to experience that when I work with new people through 50 East. So that's been very nice.
Thank you, Shelby. I work with about 200 organizations, and any of them where it's risky to ask a question are doomed.
Yeah.
No, they are.
Especially in this field, because if you're scared to ask a question, not only could you most likely get hurt in majority of the things that you're asking, but it could also lead to a job being done completely incorrectly because you missed a step because you were afraid to ask, or you just did something incorrectly because you were afraid of, I guess.
Yeah, no, absolutely right on. Thank you. Brandon.
Brandon went.
Oh, Brandon's gone.
No, Brad, he was already on. He was with Alan.
Oh, I'm sorry. He got moved around. See, I have the
All right.
attention span of a garbanzo bean, y'all. So we have iPhone. Is that an actual person?
You know what? It could be Jeff. It could be his. He's got a 702 number, so that could be Jeff. It could be I'm the 8668. And then we also have Mom. We have Mom there, but she's on an iPad, but it might say iPhone. So I don't know if she can be heard or not.
I think it may not, someone may not be there because when I ask them to unmute, I'm getting an error message.
Okay.
It might be
That's-
me
Yeah,
and Steve over here.
That's Ryan and Steve.
there it is.
Hello.
All right, now for our cleanup batter. You can run, but you can't hide, Mr. Wheatley.
Oh,
Is it
well,
my turn?
It
You want
is-
Ryan?
Yeah.
oh, go ahead, Steve.
Was there somebody on iPhone who hasn't shared yet?
Ryan and Steve are together
Right.
and they're driving, and one of them is probably that iPhone.
Yeah, it's my phone here. Ryan,
Yeah.
I guess what I would want to get out of work would be like, like Dave said, refining my skills and like also kind of what Alan said, like, I mean, I find this line of work almost therapeutic. Like, I don't know, I've always just kind of like had a thing for like wood in general, just the smell and just like, building things and, being able to stand back at the end and look at the job and being like, okay, that's like, I did that. And then like, getting lost in the work itself. I mean, like there's days where I just, I'll be ready for lunch. I look at the clock and it's 2:30 and I'm like, oh, well, I might as well finish, like and just go home. And like, I mean, and then like, yeah, nobody wants the stress. So I guess as far as like what I don't want out of work, it would be, that. And like, before I came to 50 East, I worked for a company and the boss, like he was out of his mind. He used to like, take steroids and like, he was just mad at the world and like, and he would like, I mean, just re-rate like, his workers, you know what I mean? Like, and like, I mean, there was times where like, people were walking off the job. Of course, they'd come back the next day because they need a paycheck. But like, I don't know, like after a while, it's like, it's like nobody's going to stay for, somebody that treats them like crap. So I don't know. Steve has, definitely been like a lifesaver on numerous occasions in the past, 3 years or so that I've been, working with you guys. Like, I don't know. And like, and that's, and like, I guess, yeah, like even what Shelby said, like, people showing me what to do. If I don't know something, somebody's always going to show me what to do. Even if they make fun of me for not knowing or not remembering or like whatever, they're still going to show me what to do after, like after picking on me a little bit or like whatever, and like, that's just how, I mean, like, it's just, like, I don't know. So what was the other part?
3 things. What do you want from work? What don't you want from work? And what about 50 East gives you something special?
Well, I don't know. 50 East is dope. I mean, like I said, like, I mean, if it won for Steve, there's, like, I mean, like, I don't know. I'd have been sitting on the side of the road out of gas or something still, like, I mean, like he would always like, he would show up if, so like that's definitely kept me around, and like, yeah. And even since I've been here, the company is like grown and grown and grown. Like we're just like busier and busier and busier. It's like, and doing bigger and bigger things. And it's like, as 50 East is learning, I'm learning, and like, I don't know, it's like, it's good, like I feel like, as the way that I see it, it's like, like if that's still the case, in 5 years, then there's no reason for me to go anywhere. So that's about it.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, now, Steve, I think you are the last.
I think you got one more, Mac. We got
I do.
Steve is with Ryan. There's a Steve with Ryan right now as well. If you
They're
can hear.
everywhere.
Yeah, dude. It's all you, buddy. Here you go, Steve.
I want to talk.
Steve's driving. He didn't want to risk it.
Okay,
All right, fair enough.
I get it.
And then is Jeff there? Jeff, are you available? His may have had an error message. He might not be on. All right. Well, then it's my turn.
Yeah, it is. You can run, but you can't hide.
All right. What I like about work and want out of work. This is the easy one because recently I realized it hit me right in the face when I went home that I found out it was last week again. I was reminded of what I want. When I go home at the end of the day, I want to feel good. I mean, honest to God, everybody, when you have like a feel good day where you woke up and you knew what you were doing. Maybe the weather was nice. Your song came on the radio or whatnot, and everything just kind of went as planned. There was no stress. There was no anxiety. And you get home and it's like, you look forward to getting home and just having a great night. I want to go home, walk the dogs and see my wife and to tag on what Kent said, and then not have a work conversation with my friends and family. That's ultimately what I chase every single day at work. I just want to go home and have that good feeling. Like I just sold the job, woohoo, on my way to the bank, right? I just want that good feeling. What I don't want out of work, I don't want to have to be an ass, to be tough, to be hard. I don't want to have to look at my friends and family and say, you're not doing it right. I need you to work harder, cry faster, work harder for me. You're not doing enough. I don't want to have to say you're making a mess and you don't have your stuff together. I don't want to have any of those conversations with my friends and family. And unfortunately, that's who I work with. So it puts me in a position that I don't like a lot of the time. And it's part of the business, but it's my least favorite part. So I don't want that out of work. I definitely want the feel good aspect of it. And it's a happy medium because they're both going to be there. And that's unfortunate as well, but that's what I like and what I don't like. What's keeping me at 50 East? Y'all motherfuckers, excuse my language. It's overwhelming to think about what we've done. And we're actually in April, we will be going into our 9th year open so that you guys are all clear. We have been open 8. We are operating on 8. We are getting ready to go into number 9. And I joke and say I'm tired of learning lessons, but it's amazing and overwhelming to see the projects that we're doing. I stopped a sales job and we started painting some interior. Me and a guy were painting some interior of houses and doing handyman work, and it turned into we're going to do this bigger job. I needed a helper, and we did a really good job for Dan and Ben's parents. So next thing you know, Dan started working for us. And then Kent kind of had joked and said, I'm not going to work for you unless you have a truck and a ladder rack. I actually bought a ladder rack, put it on the truck, and then said, Kent, need you to come work for me now. We got it. We were doing great. We got into a position where we needed to know how to build steps. Thank God I knew Dave. Dave needed a job. We hired Dave. Dave's part of the team. Alan decided that he's going to have a kid. Alan wanted a consistent job. Alan says, hey, I need some work. Next thing you know, Alan's had this consistent job for 7 years now with us and growing. Bumped into a guy named Ryan who reached out. You know, he just was looking for companies, and we got him hooked up into a spot. He ended up knowing a guy named Brandon who came about. You know, I mean, it's a really big growth there. We had a guy walking by one of our biggest jobs that we had ever done, and Kent started talking to that guy. Steve now works for us, and he's one of them. I mean, he's got an amazing amount of knowledge when it comes to building, and it's allowed us to actually now complete the biggest job that we've ever done with Mac. There is a customer that's probably a little bit happier than you are right now, and we're almost finished this house, but there's a $250,000 job that we've been at for damn near a year, and you know, Steve is a superstar on that. I really feel like that the stress level would have been ginormous, and we'd still be messing around with it without him. Not to mention that we have a whole nother division in Virginia, and that's Jeff and Shelby down there operating. Jeff and me worked together at the place I worked before I quit and came to and started 50 East. And one day Jeff got fed up and said, I quit there. I think I'm going to start 50 West with you. And we made a joke, and, you know, we just started selling jobs in his neighborhood. And now we have a whole nother division out there. We don't do any work in between it. But the fact is the jobs that they started at, the first job that 50 East in Virginia did was gutter cleaning. We cleaned a gutter for $200. Like, that was the first job. But right now, 50 East is building a $100,000 screen room with massive heaters and drop down TVs and stuff. And that's being done by the crew that is all learning, and by the guys that are getting better each day and refining their skills. Because certainly we all know I can't be operating the saw. Shelby runs the saw better than me. I'm not running the saw. You guys are the ones doing that. And I got to tell you, that's what I like about 50 East. We are growing. We are absolutely growing. I can't even imagine what it will look like in a year from now, let alone, like Kent said, 7, because I didn't picture it to look like this right now. So very impressed with everybody. And that's what I would share about 50 East.
What a pleasure. And I know you guys are busy. I really appreciate you taking the time. I'll let you know when this is posted. So my final thought, for what it's worth, you may remember the movie Field of Dreams, which I think is a great movie. And remember, he said, build it and they will come. And as long as you guys are, as far as I can tell, doing what you're doing and keep doing what you're doing, the right jobs and the right new people. Again, a guy walking by in the street, right? As long as you build it and you build it well and you build it together and you care about each other, then you'll bring the right stuff. I don't care what your business plan is, the right stuff will show up, because that's just the way it works.
Right.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. This has been a pleasure. And you've made my afternoon. This is usually a low point of my day, and now it's a high point of my day.
Well, thanks. That was really good, man.
All right, y'all.
Thank you. Have a good one.
I'm out of here.
That's
Yeah.
it.
Adios.
Thanks, Max. Appreciate it, man.
Yep.